So you want me to make the motion again?
But I thought she started it.
This is Clarence. I'll make a motion that we amend the current contract with the county administrator to increase his salary effective September 7th, 2023 to $110,000 for the term of September 7th, 2023 to September 7th, 2024. And then we extend his contract effective September 7th, 2024 for another 3 years with annual salary increases of 5% each year.
Thank you.
I would second that motion.
All right, everybody's heard the motion.
Is Dan comfortable with this new agreement?
Yes.
Okay, because if you weren't, the motion wouldn't mean anything.
No, I'm comfortable with it. I would have said something otherwise.
I don't see you jumping up and down. All right, we have a motion and a second on the table to increase Dan's salary and term of contract. The proposed salary increase will be $110,000. And 5% thereafter each anniversary date of it. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this will be brought up at the next county board meeting?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah, this will be
Actually,
forwarded to the
let's
next
go
one.
take that up when we get to next meeting agenda.
Motion, let's see. We did the possible action and
So we're at administrator updates.
I know I'm working my way down to that, Dan.
Sorry.
Behave, because we haven't rated it yet.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, administrator updates.
Okay, so I already gave you the update on joint dispatch earlier in the meeting. So we're hoping to hear very soon on that grant. The other big thing is the state budget. It looks like the Senate is not fully on board with the assembly plan, which would give us about another $550,000 a year in shared revenue. It would also require us to spend a $250,000 of that increase would have to be spent on law enforcement, dispatch, or highway, actual roads. Which for us is convenience because we have negotiations with the deputies coming up in a year. So that might be helpful. So but along with that increase, they want to take away some of our other abilities. Like we won't be able to put anything up on a referendum except for a tax increase, waiver of the levy limits. No more policy issues. So we don't know where the governor has also threatened to veto it all because he doesn't think the dollar amount is enough going to counties and cities, towns, and villages. The way they're going to fund it is they're going to use 1% of the state sales tax. So currently the sales tax of 5%. So if you have $100 spent, the sales tax is $5. $1, one of those $5 would go to fund all county, city, town, villages, and towns. The theory being that that number has been increasing every single year for the last 30 years. The only dip was in that recession, 2008-9.
I thought the sales tax was 5.5%.
The state sales tax is 5%. The county is another 0.5%.
Okay, that's where the 0.5% comes.
Yeah. So a lot of this is still in negotiations and in flux. We won't really know what's going to happen until next month. The assembly is set to vote probably tomorrow on their version of the shared revenue. However, joint finance won't be done with it until September sometime. And so there'll be continued negotiations between both houses of the legislature and the governor. Along with that, our two legislators are going to be at least my understanding, and this can change obviously, that they're going to be making a budget motion to make the counties whole from the LCO decision. So that would pay us back our $2.5 million that we paid out. It would pay back Bayfield County, Vilas County, Iron County, and Sawyer County, the monies they paid out. So that looks more promising. What happens to the residents of Sanborn? I don't know. The legislature doesn't know. They don't know what's going to happen to the tribal members taxes. They don't know what's going to happen to the non-tribal member taxes. Literally nobody knows. They're still talking about it. So we won't know until the very last minute on that one, probably. So, and the odds are they do something. They do something in between, or they do nothing. So literally they're still negotiating, and we can't say one way or the other. You know, if they tell me one thing today, it could change tomorrow. So, like I said, I am confident that our two legislators are working as hard as they can to help us and to help everyone. But, from our perspective, we want the county to get paid back. We don't want the school district to get a charge back. We don't want the town to get a charge back. We want at least the government institutions made whole, and that's what we've been lobbying for the most. So I guess I'll probably have more for finance next week, and I'll probably have more for the county board when it comes up. Other than that, I can say budget process has started. Next executive committee will be doing some hiring requests. So any new hire requests have to come to this committee, and they're going to have to be done by next month, or it's going to be an extraordinary circumstance to get them into the next year's budget. Capital improvements are due by June 5th. So any department that has a capital improvement has to get their budget to me by June 5th. We are going to bring those to finance committee as soon as we get them. Start having them start hacking away at different parts of the budget sooner rather than later. Maybe that way everybody can have a bigger understanding of what we're getting. I'm assuming I've told everyone to assume going forward that actual levy is not going to increase. And if it does increase, it's only going to be a couple $100. So we're going to assume no levy increase. And also we're going to assume no debt levy increase. So the assumption is that we're not going to raise taxes in the budget we present. Yes, you have the option to do so, to raise or lower them, but we're going to present a neutral budget. I'd like to get budgets through oversight committees sooner rather than later. So I'd like highway to go in front of highway quickly, HHS to go in front of HHS in your September meeting. So finance has October to put everything together and weigh all the requests, and we can get the budget done by the middle of October. So we can get the posting out. And I believe it's October 20th is the drop dead date to post if we want to get the budget in front of the county board November 7th. And that's the goal, November 7th or earlier. So the summer's going to be busy. And I think there's going to be extra finance committee meetings this summer to go over things. Yes, sir.
Did, as far as the wage study, did anybody file a grievance about the wage study that they want the executive committee to examine it?
There's about 24, 25 appeals that went to Carlson Detman first. The company that did the wage study. If Carlson Detman approves the increased wage, then it'll go in effect July 1st. If they say no, the employee can come to this committee and ask for it.
We have to, if When would we know that if we have to have a special meeting to discuss wage study
Very soon.
very soon?
So we will have a June meeting for sure, either way.
So the meeting that, this is Mike, so the meeting that we're going to have next week on finance.
Yes,
Is this information be available to us at that time or is that too soon?
I don't know yet. If I have it, then you'll have it. Right now, I don't have it back yet.
Okay.
So I'm trying to give you things in real time, but sometimes that means a different committee gets it first.
Well, it's kind of interesting. If we got 24 or 25 individuals that's grieving to the Carl Detman, our consultants.
Yeah.
To what extent are they going to share that information with us? Certainly not each grievance, but it's going to be a combined or
Yeah, and
a critique.
we can get that. We can get you anything you want. I mean, I can give, if this committee wants to see all the individual appeals, they can. If you want to just see the results of the appeals, I can give you that. Really, whatever you want. I don't want to
Well-
overload you with information, but I want to give you what you want to get. So-
Ideally, what we would like would be a recommendation from Carl Detman on the review of those grievances.
Yep.
But it's not that easy
Yeah,
because, if it's not handled properly or correctly, those grievances are going to come to the finance committee anyhow.
this committee. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see, yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's why we let the professionals handle the appeals, because they're the ones who have been doing this for a long time. So we get their results, and then if they're not happy with those results, they can come to this committee with all the information. That way the employee has two chances to get there.
Are there significant dollars involved with this dam, do you know, or?
I don't think so. There's not, we're not looking at too much. I mean, the reality is, some people are upset they're not getting at Bayfield County levels. And we decided when we first approved the wage study, we were never going to get to Bayfield County right away. So I think that's a large part of it.
If someone's talking, please use your microphone.
Okay, I guess I'm done. I'll take questions now.
I think you should mention 514 Second.
Oh,
Street.
yeah, I'm sorry. So, what was it, the 9th? City council met the 9th, 8th or 9th?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so, whatever that Tuesday was, the 8th or 9th, the city council made final approval to purchase the 514 building. So we have the signed contract, we have, the down payment check, the earnest money, and it's going into closing right now. We all know the closing process can take 30 to 45 days.
Is there somebody checking on the building right now on a daily basis, or
Yeah.
is what's being done with that?
Yeah, Dave goes and checks it out on a weekly basis to make sure. And when we have cold snaps, he goes up, or when we had cold snaps, cross our fingers, he would go check it to make sure that there was no pipes bursting or anything. So he is checking it. And I know the city's going in and out a lot, so I gave them a key a while ago. So, but yes, this summer that thing will be gone. And as far as I can bring up, I expect to get one bid for repairing this building. We had one company come out and look at it. Yeah, the attic. So what this building needs done is it needs to be tuck pointed around the entire building to keep all the water out. And then there's some of the metal in the attic itself needs to be fixed. But the real issue is the water coming in the building. That's what's causing all the damage.
Did
you
you
know-
say you have a bill or bid or you will get a bid or?
We had one company come look at it. So we may have to extend the deadline for the project to be finished. We put Labor Day weekend in as a deadline. And that's largely because I don't know when winter's gonna hit. And once winter hits, you can't get anything done. But I'd be willing to split the project up, get the outside work done when it's warm. And then later on do the inside work. That would be fine as long as the work gets done. So we will hear hopefully by the next meeting that we have a bidder.
I got a question in referring to the roof problem.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered having that white covering stuff that all these buildings around town are getting now instead of putting a new roof on?
Well, we're not putting a new roof on this building. The problem is it's the sides of the building during all the joints that put what is it, sandstone or limestone? That's what's leaking. The mortar actually inside those is coming out and it's cracking. So we have spots, if you go up in the attic, you can stick a yardstick through the whole thing because it's all cracked out. So it needs to get tuck pointing would be putting in new joints. So they would put in a more elastic joint than a stiff hard joint. So what an elastic joint will do is with the freeze and frost and warm thaws and just general shifts, it would move with the rocks as it moved. So it wouldn't crack instead of cracking when you have two solid pieces moved, it cracks. Think a good analogy would be the grout on a tile floor. That's very stiff and hard. Whereas like the epoxy you put in your bathroom is flexible. So that's kind of the analogy. So that's what needs to be done to this building to save it long term. If we don't do that, if we take a cheaper way out and just put something hard in, we're going to be facing the same problem in 10 years. And the water damage will continue. So right now, the only company out is a historic building restoration specialist who deals with this every single day. This is all they do, which is good. We can save the building then. We also need to start looking at replacing the parts, and it's in our budget. The guts for the elevator. So make sure that continues to work properly.
So Dan, in regards to the leaky roof.
Yep.
Apparently we've done something with it because you're seeing none of it's coming in from above.
To the courtroom, yeah.
Why was there buckets all over up in the attic?
Okay, so we did do something. As many know, the small courtroom had buckets in there that needed to be emptied pretty much every day. So what Dave did was he got a sump pump. And so he's pumping the water out before it gets into the courtroom. That solves the unsightly mess of the bucket and water dripping and having to empty it all the time, but it doesn't solve the problem, which is the water coming in the first place. So to answer your question, we put a sump pump there to keep the water from causing a problem from actual people working, but it doesn't solve the problem of the building.
Well, the key to that is to stop us from coming into the building. The hell with the sump pump.
Right, that's why we need to tuck point the whole building to keep it from coming in the first place. I'm not exactly sure how Dave did it. I could bring him up here and you can ask him. That's
When you're
beyond my
doing tuck
knowledge.
pointing, you're not tuck pointing the roof.
No, we're tuck pointing the sides of the building. The roof itself is fine. The water's coming in from the sides of the building. Because there's all this decorative stuff on the side where water can collect and come in.
So how were they catching that in buckets if it's coming in the side of the building?
Well, it's coming into the building and water flows down. And so it went down the steel beams And it ended up in the small courtroom. If you go to the outside of the building, you can look, you can see water stains on the outside of the building.
So you're thinking that this tuck pointing would stop all that?
Yes, that's what
Well,
That's
let's
what
do it then.
we had it out for bid, and yesterday was the deadline to come look at it. And June 5th or 10th is RFP due date. So we are trying to get somebody in here. The reality is it may have to wait till next year because we approved it in the budget. We approved 1.1 million in ARPA funds in the county budget to do this. Now I'll be happy to bring the contract to this committee if you want to look over it, or the finance committee.
So how soon can we get this done?
We want it done this summer.
Pardon?
We want it done this summer.
This summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's again, that's a scheduling issue. Everybody knows how contractors are. I mean, good luck getting a contractor to do a lot of things these days. So you know. So we're pushing to get it done this summer yet.
Did you set a date for the next exec meeting?
No, I have not. So I was let me get to the.
If you were done with your presentation.
Yes, I am done. Thank you, sir. So here's a calendar. So everybody can see it. This also tells us what's on tap already. So I would suggest somewhere in the middle of the month. Bearing in mind the 16th, we already have a commitment. And I'm looking at June 6th for county board.
When it,
Any personnel additions to the budget, I know for a fact. So I know Spark has some personnel requests. And land conservation has one too.
when it comes to salary issues, you know, the company is going to be looking at it, negotiating with them, but do we have the final say?
You have the final say.
So if they go ahead and approve it, we still could deny it.
Yes. So yes, if we get the appeals back by then, that would be on the agenda too. So that's kind of why I'd like to make it a little bit later in the month. You know, something like the 13th maybe. Or the 20th. So
You have a proposed date?
either the 13th or 20th. And then we'll do county board on the 6th.
You asked for this. You asked for this.
So I'm looking at full board on the 6th and then exec on the 13th or 20th. So I don't know, but I'm bringing it up so you guys can look at your calendars. Okay. Do you want to say the 20th? That way, in case we need to move back the county board a week, we can. Or I don't know, we can flip flop them around if we need to. So why don't we plan on the county board on the 6th and exec on the 13th? Yeah, that way, because finance should be the 22nd. That way, any recommendation that comes out can go to finance right away.
13th.
Yeah.
My dad's part.
Does that work for everyone? All right, if there's any change to that, I'll let you know, but let's plan on that. No kidding.
Yeah, I never know I needed that.
All right. Make that motion.
If we're ready to adjourn, I make that motion.
Motion to adjourn is on the table.
Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
Motion by Bill, excuse me, Mike, seconded by Marty to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Anyone wants to stay longer? You're on your own.
Hey.